Welcome back, video creeps. Look, it's no secret that your boy is a huge Frank Henenlotter fan. Yet, I have not reviewed any of his movies. The fuck is wrong with me? That's no way to treat your friends. So I'm just gonna eradicate that little mistake. And I'm gonna take the time to go over 1990's Frankenhooker, a terrifying tale of sluts and bolts who just want a goddamn date. Remember, watch the whole video. Don't be a bitch. Now, Frankenhooker was filmed back-to-back with Basket Case 2, my favorite Frank Henenlotter film. If you don't like it, you can eat my butt. I'm not here to get judged, Brad. Both movies were filmed in New York City's Pier 40, and it was written by Robert Martin and Frank Henenlotter, which, funny enough, wasn't Henenlotter's original idea when going in to pitch this movie. He actually went in with the hopes of making another movie called Insect City. However, when they didn't like that idea, they asked him on the spot, hey, do you have any other ideas? And since he didn't, he just fucking made one up, you know, on the fly, like a liar. Once he struck a deal with them, him and Robert got together and they penned out the script that was Frankenhooker. Now call me crazy, but I do wonder what that Insect City movie would have been about. We can infer from the title. But this is Henenlotter that we're talking about. This could have gone in any fucking direction. Now, while it's found its home in the cult culture zeitgeist of horror films and shit, this movie performed fucking terribly. In fact, when taking the movie to the MPAA, they called Frank Henenlotter to congratulate him for making the first movie that was rated S. For shit. The film didn't get a wide theatrical release or anything. In fact, to make the movie was about $2 million, and it only made about $205,000. However, this motherfucker was able to come through and make a little bit of money on its VHS release. That actually featured a button that had a talking case. What I would give for that. Another cool thing before I get into this movie is that when producing and making the film, it actually had a code name. When Frank was talking to officials in the industry, whenever he needed props or a little bit of extra cash or something, he would refer to the movie as Frankenstein 90, you know, because people be soft and bitches. Now, the movie opens up with our boy Jeffrey, who's trying to get a brain with an eyeball to follow his hand, which that brain is actually an homage to the film The Brain That Wouldn't Die. However, since we don't actually get to see the brain that doesn't die in the film, Frank took it upon himself to make his own. And Frank even has a little bit of a cameo in the beginning of this movie. When that hand is moving back and forth, that's Frank's hand. Now, the brain isn't fucking with any of this interact with my hand bullshit. So Jeffrey decides to give it a little bit of lobotomy magic, and it begins to react. But this is when he's tapped on the shoulder for some ketchup. Very fucking important. And we see that he's actually at what looks like a fucking kid's birthday party, but it's not a kid's birthday party. It's like a fucking 50-year-old's party. His wife just decorates like a dickhead.
Wait, this fits in the palm of my hand. You haven't blown them up enough. Why have you chosen brown and gray balloons?
They match the carpet.
We meet Jeffrey's soon-to-be bride, Elizabeth, who goes on to lie about her weight, telling a friend how she can't stop eating and how she's fat as fuck. Bitch, you need to love yourself. Out here looking dope and shit and not seeing it. You blind motherfucker. You're fucking fly. Don't you ever do that shit in my presence. Taylor Swift, baby, shake it off. But we do learn that Jeffrey is an electrician who has been kicked out of 3 medical schools. So he's a bit of a brain and a bit of a rebel. And unfortunately, this leads to Elizabeth's demise. Because when she gets up to give her father a remote-controlled lawnmower, which is an awesome idea, that Jeffrey made, she stands in front of it like a fucking moron. So you know that shit does what it's gonna do. And this really ruffles Jeffrey's feathers, because then he becomes obsessed with reanimation. Ha! Jeffrey, reanimation, Jeffrey Combs, reanimator. Y'all think I was so clever. I know, I see you. But he pulls himself away just long enough to watch a news recording of Elizabeth's death that was clearly written by the Animaniacs.
Like wood through a mulcher, the girthful fiancée disappeared beneath the blades of the berserk mower that sent her personality raining down upon the horrified birthday revelers. In a blaze of blood, bones, and body parts, the vivacious young girl was instantly reduced to a tossed human salad, a salad that police are still trying to gather up, a salad that was once named Elizabeth.
Let someone I love get done dirty like that in the news. I will Dark Knight Joker your fucking house. Now, we learned that a bunch of her body parts have gone missing. I don't think I have to tell you that Jeffrey took them, but he has like this really honest conversation with his mother about his state of mind. Which, yo, way to go, brother. That is a higher level of thinking. Being able to look past yourself like that. It shows that you can step outside of yourself to give yourself a deeper perspective. Doesn't mean he's not crazy though, because he is. We see him retrieve Elizabeth's dead body parts so that way they can have a sexy and fancy dinner. And he's just sweet talking her, whining her. He even gives her a little bit of poetry. What a nice guy. He puts her back in bed into her purple bath of like toxic bubbling fucking whatever is preserving her. And he begins to weave through the logistics of how he can bring this thing to life. Concluding that if she's gonna come back, someone's gotta go. But he begins to feel extremely anxious about that. And we can't fucking have that. We have a whole movie to happen here. So with his understanding of the human brain,
okay, I gotta get some stewardesses.
With a clear thinking head, he hits the city streets in order to find himself a couple of night walkers. And after flashing a little bit of cash, he finds them. But he can't just take these girls first. He has to go and see Zorro, who obviously, I'm sure you already know, is gonna be their pimp. Pimps and hoes, man. Been going together since fucking ham and cheese. Adam and Eve. Japanese. Look at these. Now we see Zorro, who has like fucking DJ Khaled whispering in his ear. Which, fun fact, if you're a big Henenlotter fan, you will recognize Zorro from another one of his masterpieces, Brain Damage. Which is no surprise to anyone. He's always splashing around characters from his former films into his newer films. Now Jeffrey doesn't get any girls, but he does grab a big bag of crack. And he reworks it so that way he makes super crack. And with this super crack, he plans on killing a bunch of hookers for their body parts. Makes sense? Makes sense? But Jeffrey, starting to disassociate, looks over at the TV and sees his sweet Elizabeth just being fucking hooker handled by Zorro. And he's like, well, fuck all of that. And he goes for that fucking drill. And when clearer thinking again, he meets up with Zorro again in order to get himself a couple of ladies. And then he plays doctor with them, like measuring up their legs. Just a lot of titties and ass. Now Zorro comes through to collect his women with kind of a sunny disposition. Like based off of this one interaction here, he seems like a really nice guy.
Hey Zorro, what's up?
Just waiting for my bitches. They should be down in a few minutes.
Oh, good.
But the girls find the drugs and immediately start smoking crack. I'm sorry, they do not skip a beat. But I will say it is impressive how every single girl has her own crack pipe. Let's hope they adopt that attitude and they all have their own heroin needle. Now these girls all get naked and they start dancing and shit because they know how to fucking party. But eventually that super crack turns out to be super whack. I'm sorry, that one was distasteful. That wasn't a good joke. But I'm still gonna put it in! And the girls start to fucking explode. Jeffrey collects all the little bits and takes them all the way back to New Jersey, where he gets to fucking work, choosing all of the perfect body parts to begin crafting his sweet Elizabeth. But not without some serious deliberation first. He really put some thought in. He finally goes to get Elizabeth's head out of the thing, and it comes out like fucking completely dry and shit. No matter. In true Frankenstein fashion, he puts Elizabeth on a slab and raises her up where she gets struck by lightning, sending a current back down into the lab and to that little purple bath where he's now keeping all of the extra body parts. Lowering her back down, she's now standing on the slab. Which, by the way, just a cute moment. Before he like unveils her and they get to see each other face to face, he like fixes his hair. I don't know, I think that's cute. But Elizabeth is different now. And since Jeffrey had no money, Frankenhooker goes out looking for some, slapping the shit out of Jeffrey and knocking him unconscious. Frankenhooker gets on the train where she just starts mean-mugging high schoolers and shit because she's dreamy. And Jeffrey comes back to his senses and goes out looking for his creation. Now she finds someone to fuck machine on who's all about it until it's time to do dick stuff. And she fucks him so good, homeboy explodes. Can you imagine a girl telling you that she's gonna fucking rock your world, and instead she just turns your fucking dick into ground zero? Just shooting Raiden levels of electricity out of her pussy and mouth, severing this guy's head and then collecting her cash and just spouting off hooker cliches that we heard the other hookers saying earlier in the film. It's endlessly hysterical. Until she runs into Zorro in a bar, whose like friend tries to eat her pussy, but instead gets a full mouth of grease lightning, if you know what I mean. And that's when Zorro gets overly inquisitive about Frankenhooker.
Hey, Jersey boy, this ain't your tattoo, this ain't your arm. Where'd you get this arm? This is one of my bitches' arms.
Really knocked it out the park with those questions, bud. But when she doesn't give up the deets, Zorro cocks back and punches her head off. Killer clowns from outer space style, y'all. Sending a stream of electricity all over the bar. Jeffrey finally finds her and decides it's time to take this bitch back home. But when he gets her in his car, Zorro sees the car and follows them in a taxi. We cut back to the lab where we see Jeffrey reattaching Shelly's head and reanimating her once more. Only this time when she comes back, she's actual Elizabeth again. And after a small argument about why the fuck that's not her body, they're interrupted by Zorro, who sneaks in and cuts Jeffrey's head off. He says that Shelly belongs to him, and he wags a little bag of crack in front of her face. But just then, those extra body parts, now reanimated, come out and attack Zorro. And just in the most Henenlotter beautiful style imaginable, we get this beautiful gang of mutated creatures attacking Zorro. It is fantastic. And karma comes in full circle as we see Elizabeth reanimate Jeffrey. Only this time he has the body of a woman. And the movie fucking ends. Guys, does it get any better than when it comes to crazy B-movie shenanigans than fucking Frankenhooker? I'm so happy that this cheeky little film has found its home. And honestly, among Frank fans, this is kind of a crowd favorite, and it's not as if it's not completely unwarranted. Of all his films, by far, this is the biggest in scope, and it definitely pays the most attention to style and aesthetics. If you're new to exploitation film, this movie is an awesome introduction, especially because Frank Henenlotter is at the helm of it. It is an incredible look into the deranged genius of this subculture. Now, I don't want anyone to go into this movie with any kind of weird misconceptions. Please understand that this is a bad movie, but it is a good, bad movie. It's filled with gut-busting, what the fuck, and mouth-hanging open moments. Every single movie doesn't need to be fucking Hereditary. This movie goes in a completely different direction, with its humor, with its story, and it proves to still have that cinematic excellence that you need when going to enjoy a film. I mean, come on, the introduction to our lead is a shot of him obsessively working on some kind of eye in brain thing. We see a woman get killed by a fucking lawnmower in the first 10 minutes. He goes on to continuously lobotomize himself and get hookers so that way he can make a Frankenstein. Yeah, the Oscar's on the way. Fuck out of here. The Academy's just not ready. I also thought that Zorro was a really great addition to this cast, especially because he's not even an actor. Frank Henenlotter just wanted some strong guy to do a gay undertone in the movie Brain Damage. So he went to the gym, found this beefcake, and put him in the shower. And then when it was time to make this movie, he just used him again. Which is no surprise because we all know all of these movies are in one universe together. And then of course there's our character Shelly, who's just beautiful and hysterical. And she just knocks this role out of the fucking park. How anyone can have anything but an amazing time watching this movie is fucking beyond me. You probably need some kind of help. Are you depressed? Go to therapy. For all the rest of you, absolutely get your hands on this thing. Add it to your collection. In fact, grab all of Henenlotter's stuff, because the fun doesn't stop with Frankenhooker. And part of the fun of these movies is connecting them all together like Lego pieces. That's gonna be it for this video, guys. If you're still here, thanks so much for staying till the end of my video and not being a bitch. Make sure that you hit subscribe and that fucking notification bell. I'm telling you, That thing's important. Hit that shit. Hit it now. Did you hit it? If you did, thanks. If you didn't, fuck are you waiting for? Leave me a comment letting me know what you think about Frankenhooker. And do me a favor and like the video. If you want to take it a few steps further, go into the description of this thing, follow me across my social media, and if you really want to fucking make me smile, become a Patreon. I will see you guys on the next video. Peace, video creeps! Let me get another serving of you for myself. Cause your support I can't get from no one else. Rebecca Reviews and Desmond Flicks, Larry Sherman, Carwoman, Butcher's Grindhouse, Kyoko, and Corey Stew. Michael Andrews, I wanna thank you for all the love you showed the creep.